Hey guys, it's Paul from Circle C Lifestyle. Right here I have before us a almost 4-pound USDA prime chuck roast from Kirkland. Now I've already strung it up and we've liberally seasoned it with one of my favorites, the Montreal. It's really, it's salt and pepper. It's got everything in it. Why not use it? Okay, so that's what it is. Now it has dry brined in the refrigerator overnight. It's been tied up, and now we're gonna put it in the smoker right over here. Whoop, there it is. Now I know that one of the ways that everybody loves to do the pot roast, the way my mom did it, was we put it in one of these cast iron Dutch ovens, put it in the oven forever until it all just kind of fell apart and was just dry. We are not doing that today. Put you back there. So instead what I have here is a Cook Shack smoker that I've had for a number of years. It's built in Punxsutawney City, Oklahoma, where folks really knows what barbecue is about. And I've also got my ThermoPen remote here. This is a very important piece of equipment. Highly recommended by just about everybody because for their consistency and their longevity. So you want to make sure that this goes in right into the middle of the meat, not into the middle of the fat. We're not trying to cook the fat to temperature. We're going to render the fat, and it goes like this. So it's ready to go. Now we're talking about wood. In here I have just about almost exactly 4 ounces of pecan wood. That's going to go in. That's all the wood that we're going to need. Put it right back down in here. Got some fresh foil. We close it up and we lock it up, and we're going to turn it on. And about 250, we're going to check on it in a couple hours. The plan is to wrap it in butcher paper with beef tallow, smoked beef tallow, smoked in pecan wood. That's right. So let's turn this on. Yep. And we'll set it to 250 and be on our way. We'll be back. I'd also like to add something at this time, that I'm adding a scrupulously clean stainless steel drip pan. Why is it scrupulously clean? Because inside the smoker, the ash stays in that little wood pan that you saw me with. So if you've got drippings coming off of the meat and they come back down and you catch it, you've got liquid gold. You can hear the doggy. She's getting excited about it already. This goes right under. That's another way you can tell how it's doing too, is when you got juice, you're cooking. All right, now it's been 2 hours since we started our cook, and everything has been running just as we said it would. Our internal temperature on the burner here for the Cook Shack has been at 250. Right now, our internal temperature for the muscle portion of our meat is at 140. This little guy right up here is a little portion of the Wagyu beef tallow that we're going to use when we finally take this out to wrap it. We're going to want to have that. So I'm just getting it kind of at room temperature. This I just keep in the refrigerator. And if I don't use all of this, guess what? It can go right back in. Okay, now, here's a little indication. Remember our pristine pan? Okay, look, it's still pristine. Very little fat has rendered into this, so we're not really concerned about losing moisture in here. And a lot of times you'll see guys are coming in and they gotta they moisturize. Like, oh, I gotta moisturize. And they got the H2O out and they're like, I need it, but I don't think this is gonna need it. But we're gonna take a look and see what's up, because everything seems to be running to course. Let's look at it. Of course, but remember, here's a couple little things about barbecue that, especially when you're doing these deep, low meats, they're always talking about time and temperature and when it's gonna be ready. And you know, really what you want to do is go by the temperature. But guess what? Time is an issue. Mother Time is always looking at us. Father Time, Sister Time, Wife Time, and we just want to know when it's going to be ready. So that's why we're kind of clocking this. And if I could give a little tip at all with this kind of barbecue, meaning the low and slow, when it's done, you can hold it. It'll be fine all the way into the next day. You heard me say it, it's gonna be fine. You've got the salt on it, you got the smoke on it, you got all the flavor. Leave yourself some time ahead of time if you have that kind of time. Oh my gosh, can we take a look? We've got to get our little our probe here. I don't know why I'm messing with this other than it's really cool and I do love these things. So I'm standing back. Oh yeah, so there we go. Pull it out. I don't know if you can see this, but it's looking pretty okay. Yeah, I'm gonna stop for a second and give you a close-up of this shot because let's you know a little bit of all this talk about the bark, okay? Let's stop barking about the bark and see the bark. Stopping, looking, and continuing. Okay, here it is. That is some nice bark, great looking piece of meat. All right then, so since we opened it up and we looked at it, if you remember, if you're looking, you're not cooking. Let's just take our advantage and give it a little. Can you hear that? That means it's a good thing. So we're gonna pop it back in and I'm gonna spritz the inside of this cook shack just a little bit. Yeah, puts a little more wetness in there. Ah, come on. So there we go. Now, we're going to be looking at the temperature, our internal temperature here. We were going to go to 160. I think that's probably a pretty good point to go. And then we're going to wrap with our rendered pecan smoked beef tallow. This is the stuff right here. I use this when I get it. I smoke it in this smoker with pecan wood. Very clean smoke, as you can see, what's coming out of here. And then I put it back in here and I use it at my will. You do the same. Ready? All right, let's go. Yeah, right now it's been exactly 4 hours since we put our chuck roast on. And like we said, 2 hours, we thought it would come up to, you know, the time we'd do a little spritz and look at it at 140. Now we're at 160, and we're gonna take this off and we're gonna wrap it. And of course, we're gonna be using our tallow. Woohoo! Love that. That smells fantastic. Oh my gosh, look at this little belly. Ready to come out. Oh my gosh, come here. Come to Papa. Oh yeah, okay, now, right in there. We're gonna take our probe out because the probe is threaded through the top. Closing that up. Now we're gonna use this temperature for our oven here still for the remainder of our cook. So I'm just gonna close that up there and let's bring it over here and we're gonna do the wrap. Now it doesn't make any difference what you're wrapping in. Some people wrap in tin foil. Some like to wrap in the butcher paper. You might even want to wrap it in your ex-wife's wedding dress. I don't care, but we're gonna wrap it and put some beef tallow on it. Let's get on it. All right, now, so here we are finding ourselves back at the butcher paper, just where we want to be. And with our tallow, circle C off to the side. Now, here's how this is gonna roll. Oh my goodness, look at you, little boy. Now, what we're gonna do is look how nicely, I mean, just look at Look at the crust we have on here. This is good stuff. Now I like to run it a little bit at an angle. I think you've probably seen that done. Get out of there, my boy. I'm gonna add a little bit of the au jus to it. And then here's our beef tallow. We're just gonna let it get all on there. I mean, this is not the time to be shy. Oh yeah. Oh boy. Come right in here like this. Wrap and wrap. And this is going right back into the smoker. In fact, I even got a little bit of a notion to kind of leave it in this nice little package, right like this. How would that represent to yourself? I mean, let's give it a little drizzle on the outside too, because this is going to help keep that moisture in, which is the whole idea behind this. So we're going back in the moisture. We're at 160 now. We want to let this get up temperature-wise to like 203, and then rest it after that. It could be, you know, another hour, a couple hours. We're going to put that probe back into this so we can monitor it, so we don't have to really lift. Although I wouldn't have a problem opening the door now, because we're not letting any smoke flavor. We've already done our smoke at this point, right? Yes, we have. Let's get on it. So here we go. We're back in the smoker time. Temperature's still good up. I've got my little, this is an internal probe that we're going to use. I'm just going to, what the heck, we're going to try this. Stick it right in here, like that. And also there is a temperature probe here someplace. This one's monitoring the oven temperature. I can kind of send that one down through the porthole, kind of make sure it's not touching anything metal, which isn't that easy to do unless you've got one of those. This is going back in here, nice in the middle. Keep the cords out of the way of the door. Okay, closing up, centered. And we're going to close them down. Now, while we're at it, let's take a quick look at this. Remember we talked about juices? This is the only fat that's rendered out of this, but not a lot of juice. So that means our juice is going to stay in the wrap. We're going to let it go for a couple more hours. We're going to get our temp up to where we want it, and then we're going to have to let it rest. That's why you want to leave yourself some time, because when you leave yourself some time, you got time to let it rest. Okay? There you go. All right, we'll be back. Now, when we were back there at the barbecue, I think you might have noticed that there was a little bit of ashes flicking around. That's because over here on the Western Sierra, we've got a major forest fire burning, and we're getting a lot of ash up here at Lake Tahoe. So I thought now would be the time, while we're finishing our cook, we come down here to the lake and get a little refreshed. You know, because the whole idea of this channel about cooking and entertaining and stand-up seniors, all that fun stuff, is to bring a little bit of Tahoe, meaning in, on, around, over, and you know, under Lake Tahoe. Shall we? Yep. That's what I'm talking about. Now, get back to the cook. Hello again. We are back, we are refreshed, and we are 6 hours into the cook, so I just wanted to come into you on an hourly basis, even though we're not looking at time and temperature, but it's been 6 hours. Current temperature is 198 degrees on the internal, which is good because we're going to pull it off somewhere close to 200, so it looks like, I'm seeing like another half an hour. We'll pull it out. It'll still be in our nice wrap, which is also a really good way to present. And of course, then we're going to let it rest. Until that time, let's go back and take a rest. Okay? So, you hear that? That's the beeping sound. That means that we are already up to our limit, 201 degrees on the internal temp. So, we're pulling her off. So, can we just stop this for God's sakes? Thank you. Ooh, it's hotter than heck. And we are going to pull it out and wrap it. Now, oops, we discussed this, that we're going to let this sit overnight, because when we're up here at the lake and we've got all sorts of stuff going on, it's really tough to kind of pull something really excellent together while you're going out on the personal watercraft, the jet skis, or maybe you're going up to Thunderbird Lodge, or maybe you're just going out to check out what's going on with the air balloons. So let's just say that we're going to put this in here and we'll get to it in another day. And the other day is tomorrow. So here we go. All right, so it's been overnight and we've held off on getting into that chuck roast for just about long enough. I can hardly stand it. So now, obviously, you know, we had it resting in the cooler, but the cooler is not going to hold the temperature as long as we wanted. So I put it back in the oven here just to warm up a little bit so we could get kind of up to serving temp. So here it is. So we're going to get into this. We're going to have a look at it. As you can see, it's got a nice kind of a tawny. This is something that tinfoil doesn't give you when you're looking about presentation. You know, the butcher wrap. You see, look how great this looks. So we're going to take this out. It's warm to touch. Ooh, and it is really warm to touch. And we just got a little bit of oil left in the pan here. That's going to come in handy. We know that. That comes from our Wagyu beef tallow that we've smoked. Let's open this baby up. Now, ooh, we're going to check the internal temperature on it because it was down around kind of like the high 80s or so after sitting there for 24 hours. And that's why I opted to put it into the oven just to kind of get it up to this really nice, oh my goodness sakes, look at that bad boy right there. Oh, this is a lovely thing. Now, we're just going to see what our internal temp is on the meat. So this is 165 degrees. That's perfect serving temperature. And I'm just going to slide this little guy right off onto our cutting board and hopefully not lose all this au jus onto the floor. Going to put that right back into this little pan that we've got. Oh yeah, like that. You guys can go over here for just a little bit. And now I'm back. So now is what we're really talking about. We want to get into this. And remember the muscle grain was running. So you always want to try and cut across the grain. But now that it's got this wonderful bark all over it, it's really kind of a little bit tough to tell where that's going to happen. So we do know that we have our little tie left in there. We'll take that out. Yeah, remember that? Just kind of kept it all sort of neat and tidy. And then I'm just gonna, now the parts of it are just gonna fall apart because of where the fat lines run. So like these little pieces, you can see these are just gonna come out like that. See how these are going? Gosh, this is great. Now, when we get it down to the main parts, these fatty parts, you know, if you're really into the keto, you'd be way after that. But I think this piece right here is going to really kind of show us what we're looking for. So I'm going to move these little pieces about here and get it close into the camera so we can get a little close up. Let's just kind of go like this, shall we? Oh, and there we are. I think this kind of tells a story. And let's just cut a little pieces across here because we're going to go across the grain. Like that. Like that. And like that. There. Now, you see what I'm talking about. This is a very lovely piece of meat. Let's just, can we just try this? Wow. Very tender, great amount of moisture, lovely. So, I'm saying that the chuck roast, smoked chuck roast, mind you, is going to be something that we would certainly add. And here I'm just cutting it across the grain here, like as if it needed it. It's so tender that you can screw up and not cut it across the grain, and it's still going to be fantastic. So let's just get this an unequivocal thumbs up. And what would we serve with this? What can you not serve with this? You can have green beans. I like to take those little baby potatoes and steam them till they're just about way done, and then smash them and put them in one of these a cast iron skillet or something like that, and put that in a hot oven so it's kind of crispy on the outside and soft in the middle. Oh, but anyway, thanks for staying tuned to this, and check out some more videos because we're just talking about really fun, easy, economical too, stuff to do on the barbecue. And in this case, it was the Cook Shack smoker and Wagyu tallow beef, fat, and wrapped. Oh, awesome, guys. Let's get on it. We got people to serve, okay? Let's do that.